Hello, and welcome to our Advent series, All Creation Waits, the Advent Mystery of New Beginnings by Gayle. Today, Advent 16, we'll be hearing about the woodchuck. But hear first these words from Dostoevsky, the Russian writer who lived in the 19th century. Love all God's creation, the whole and every grain of sand in it. Love every leaf, every ray of light. Love the animals, love the plants, love everything. If you love everything, you will perceive the divine mystery in things. Advent 16, Woodchuck. Knowing the complications below, I kneel in front of our garden shed and speak softly into the hole beneath its door. Sleep well, Chuck. The hole plunges deeper than the frost line, then levels into a tunnel maybe as long as a 3-story building is tall. At its end, he's tucked, head between his hind paws, in a room padded with grass and leaves. He might hear me. His ears are that sharp if he's awake. Certainly not if he's asleep. Even if a predator could navigate that long tunnel and nab the sleeping woodchuck and shake him, drop him, bite him, the sleeper would sleep on, limp and insensible. That's not the threat. Deep in his burrow, he's safe from other mouths. It's his own hunger he has to escape. Winter has wiped bare his vegetarian table. He would starve if he stayed awake. Asleep so deep his heart barely beats, and his body cools to nearly the temperature of ice, he expends almost no energy. Only at a glacial pace does he burn the fat he added eating up to 3 pounds of greens and fruit each lush day of summer. In deep sleep, his hunger is subdued. His substance shrinks, but is not consumed. And yet, he might be awake now in the lean heart of Advent. Whenever he sleeps, a finely calibrated inner clock ticks on. In abundant season, it wakes him and sends him back to sleep on a predictable 24-hour cycle. Now it lets him sink 4, 5, 7 days down into a sleep so deep it amounts to self-absence. This both preserves him and stresses him mightily. At metabolic bottom, where deep sleep meets death, cellular sludge builds up. Careful molecular balances tip, till his clock alarm rings, pulling him up, awake enough to use his toilet chamber and retune his body chemistry. His inner clockwork also suffers the stress of absolute sleep. While he's awake, it recalibrates to ensure its alarm will wake him when his body chemistry turns precarious again in the next bout of sleep. Also, his clock, and in the clocks of all the area's chucks, recalibrate to stay entrained to a larger rhythm. No matter how long or short their individual cycles of wakefulness and sleep, the whole community is synchronized to a cycle of the earth itself and readied for a small window of opportunity. Mid-February, the male under my shed and all his fellows will be waked, and this time crawl out of their burrows into the still barren world, looking for the homes of females. They will enter and acquaint themselves, male and females, but not mate. The window is not yet. Their clocks send them back to their separate burrows to sleep again until the season's final alarm signals now. Now is the time to mate, so that the kits to come will be weaned at just the moment when the world's green food becomes abundant, so that they have every possible hour to eat and add weight before they must sleep, so that they will be stout enough to survive all the wakings of next winter. Then, One spring day, these young chucks will wake into the ephemeral window and pass on the elegant rhythm that sustains them all. As you listened to this story of the woodchuck, what caught your attention? What might the chuck teach you about wading through times of cold and dark, of trusting that new light will indeed come, of the cycles that we use to pass through the winter? Take a moment to prayerfully consider these questions, as well as how might God be leading you through this story of the chuck? What might God be asking of you? And now I invite you to take a moment to prayerfully share your insights, questions, concerns, whatever with God, remembering that the dark is not an end, it's a door. It's the way a new beginning comes. Amen.